Today I'm going to use Big Blue and make a really fat, sweeping sounding bass synthesizer. And so I'm going to start out, the only thing changed from default state is the ADSR here, turned on. Notice if I turn it off, just have sound. So I'm going to leave it on. I have it connected to an external USB MIDI keyboard, and so here we go. First off, I'm going to lower that attack a little bit. Leave the decay, sustain, and release just the way they are. And that's really a soft sounding synth there, so I'm going to go ahead and change the shape on all three of the oscillators to be square wave. Just going to give us a little rougher sound. There we go, still rather plain, so I'm going to change the octaves of oscillators 2 and 3. Oscillator 2 I'm just going to take down to 2 below the current octave, and oscillator 3 I'm going to take it down to 1 below the current octave. And let's try that again. Still gives us a fairly smooth sounding, missing that sweeping sound, but at least we have something a little more menacing sounding. What we can do is change the pulse width on these a little bit. I'm going to get them out of sync from each other and really give them that way to really start affecting each other in a nice sounding way, which you'll hear here. Pulse width on oscillator 3 that it really changes the sound quite a bit. So why not go ahead and send one of those LFOs to the pulse width on all three of them. And I'm just going to go ahead and lower the frequency quite a bit. We don't have to worry about the depth or the shape because we're just going to be using the LFO out itself directly and patch each of those into the pulse width of each oscillator here. Let's see what that does. Out of sync from each other, it really provides a bit of that sweeping sound. But let's go ahead and reuse oscillator 1 here and route it into our voltage controlled filters. But first let's take a look at really what we want that sound to be. I really like going into the ladder filter here and getting it into notch mode, which gives us a fairly good sound. I'm not going to mess with the mix or the Q right now. Let's just look at the frequency. Great. So let's go ahead and lower the depth on this. If we don't on one of these oscillators or on one of these filters, you're going to get that feedback, resonating, painful sound, and I really don't want that right now. It has its place, but this just isn't it. Let's go ahead and route that to filter 1 frequency. That's pretty nice, but what happens if we add a little bit of the state vector filter? I think that's about our sweet spot there. So again, I want to take one of the LFOs to slow, because I really like that slow sweep. Let's get that depth pretty low because we really don't want to hit those high resonance points, and that just again can hurt. And let's go ahead and route that frequency number 2 here. that resonance there. Let's see if we can find something a little bit better. Not quite what we're looking for. Well, what else can we play with? We have an LFO left over. Well, that Q doesn't really do much for us in this mode. What about the mix? Yeah, the ladder filter mix sounds pretty interesting. So let's go ahead and get that again to a really low frequency. And I don't want it to come in and out too much, but let's try it. And if we lower this decay and lower the release a little bit sharper.